Project Seawolf. Let's jump right into it. So I've got a couple of the hatches that I ordered. For the most part they fit, but they still, because the hatch has rounded edges and the fiberglass holes have square edges, I'm probably gonna have to create a little adapter out of foam and fiberglass. And that's okay, I can do that today. Oh, man. That's so exciting. Look at that. The days are getting really short, so even though it's only like 5 o'clock, it's totally dark outside. It's also getting pretty cold. It was 37 degrees today, and I got the heater going to make it at least warm enough to do some fiberglass and painting maybe. To help the boat warm up, I brought a hatch that will close off this large garage area, so nice. Wow. So in the final build, it's gonna be like that. But for now, it's just helping the boat stay warm because that garage area goes all the way back into all the lazes, and I'm gonna create some walls back there to close it off so that waves don't come in. But for now, it's just gonna help keep it warm.
The first task that I wanted to tackle was prepping the surfaces and drilling out the holes of the through holes that will be the anchor drains.
All right, so drilled the anchor locker drains out, bigger holes to fit the through holes, and I've prepped the surfaces inside and out. So now what's left to do is to install the actual through holes fittings. So these through hole fittings come with a little rubber gasket, but I'm gonna use some 5200 on top of it. So yeah, it should be pretty solid. All right, so even with the correct size hole saw, it's still a very snug fit. So I used this rubber mallet to get it started, and then I used this chisel inside with a wrench to get it to screw in a little bit. And I mean, you can hear it squeaking. It's pretty tight. So yeah, I'm gonna put some sealant around in here, and then also in the threads, and then snug that in real tight. I don't know if you can see on the camera, but it is snowing ever so slightly. Which I mean is a nice break in the rain, but it gives you an idea of how cold it is out here. Yeah, snow. Cool. I went with 4000 instead of 5200 because I think it's more flexible. And it said that, oh, I broke the tube. Shoot. It's good for through holes, so, well, dang it.
Inside of the through holes, there are 2 notches that you can wedge a chisel between and then use a wrench to twist the through hole into place.
Okay, the little rubber gaskets that these through holes came with are sticking out the side. It's not so bad on this side, but on the other side, oh my goodness. It just bunches up and sticks out. I'm gonna unscrew these through holes a little bit, cut those gaskets, take them out, and then screw them back in. All right, that's much better. Wow, these are the first through holes I've ever done. Hey, I'm pretty happy with that. It looks pretty clean. All right, let's do the inside. All right, the tubes are sticking out in the, here's the other side of the through holes. That's good. Oh, okay, come on. Throw it on. Alright. So I've already put sealant on these nuts. And so this is going to clean off with the rubbing alcohol. Judging by how high up these through holes are sitting, I'm probably going to have to put the floor of the anchor locker a little high. So about here probably. Gentle, gentle. Alright, a long time ago actually, one of my subscribers' septics came by and dropped off this alcohol, and man, it worked really well cleaning up these through holes. So yeah, alcohol on 5200 or 4000 really works well.
The next big job that I needed to do today was create adapters for the hatches. So as I showed earlier, the hatches have rounded corners and the holes in the fiberglass have square corners, but there's also slight gaps between the edges, and I just wanted to close those up real nice. And so for this, I'm using a 1/4 inch Divinycell foam that'll be laminated on both sides and then laminated into place later. I used my body weight to press the image of the corners into the Divinycell foam and then cut it out from there. And then looking around the boat, I found a bunch more holes that I wanted to fill. These are old holes that were for panels and conduits that I won't have in the final build.
All right, I have 17 panels that I want to take home and epoxy laminate. One thing that has been bugging me about this boat is that there are wires, you can see the shadows of the wires, that run inside the wall all the way down, and they used to go up into the mast, and I couldn't pull them out via the mast area, and I can't pull them out here. They just break when I use pliers to pull them. So I'm wondering if I can cut into the wall somewhere in here and get the wires out, because I really hate rattling when I'm sailing, and I know loose wires in there are gonna be rattling all the time. During the rebuild, I'm gonna run the wires kind of in a similar location, but accessible on raceways underneath, so they'll be protected and they'll be hidden and they'll be accessible. But it seems like they ran the wires inside the wall, which is going to drive me crazy if I don't get them out. Oh, I can see some wire ends in there. Right there, right around the corner too. Ah!
In order to get at some of the wires, I needed to cut some access holes so that I could pull them through. After pulling on the wires for most of the night, I found that the wires were most likely epoxied into the bulkheads that they were ran through.
Okay, I've cut a few holes in the ceiling here. Definitely gonna put those pieces back in with some thickened epoxy and then sand it flat and repaint this whole interior. But I've tracked these wires to about where the mast is. So this episode's just gonna be me chasing wires. I've got 3 wires here now. This one, the smaller one, goes through the bulkhead over to the other side, probably through in here and then up. This one goes straight up towards the mast and does not go anywhere else. It just goes straight up into the mast, and you know, I could cut it short here and that would stop any of the rattling and that would accomplish my goal, I guess. But if I can get it out, ideally I'd do that. Wait, this one, yeah. This one goes up into the mast in a different place. I think that just broke it. It won't rattle now, but it didn't get it all out. It's probably epoxied into into this bulkhead because these wires that used to feed the wall lights here are definitely epoxied in, and there was no way I could get them out, so they're just laminated into the piece of wood. So I don't know why you would do that other than to hide the wires. The V-berth this time, all I'm going to be able to do is take the surfaces back and laminate them, and I'm waiting on hatches for the anchor locker, so the anchor locker's on pause as well. Which is why I got distracted and pulled out all these wires. But I'd like to finish something today, and perhaps the first of these little storage lockers. Maybe that'd be a good little project. So the idea for these little storage areas are, I've got these big hinges, which will be on the bottom, and they fold completely out. And then I've got these little neodymium magnets, and they can feel each other through a full layer of, like, one of these layers, which is I don't know, 1/4 inch thick. So, but not 1/2 inch, so not 2 layers. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to attach one of these magnets to the center of this side, and then attach one to the center of this panel, and then cut a hole in the middle of the panel so that you can just pull it out.
Using the same hole saw that I used for the through hulls in the anchor locker, I punched a little finger hole in the middle of each panel. I did measure it out. I know I didn't show it. Then using the actual hinge as a stencil, I was able to find where the holes needed to be, drilled those holes. The bolts fit in perfect, and I'm using bolts instead of screws here because inside the locker area I don't want my wrist cut up by the sharp screw ends. And with some modification of the tabbing, I was able to make it fit pretty snug.
Okay. You know, that looks pretty good. I like it. And this is all going to be hidden by the cushions on the settee, but and help hold it closed. So I'm not too worried about it. So now I'm just going to put a magnet there with epoxy and a magnet here with epoxy, and then it'll stay closed. They definitely attract through that foam because it's a 1/4 inch, but just barely. So if I was gonna do this again, maybe I'd inset it in here. I don't want the magnets to touch because they'll break, because they're that strong, they'll break each other. So there needs to be a layer between them. Oh man, I made a real mess today, even for boatwork standards. And it's now 1 a.m. I'm gonna head back and laminate those panels for Thanksgiving, on Thanksgiving Day. Back on the homestead, we just fixed the tractor. The belt came off, actually broke, so got a new belt put on. And we're gonna go recycle my old bowsprit, but first, I wanna make sure I have all the measurements possible. So, the bowsprit's 6 feet long, 1 foot across, and at its thickest, 3 inches thick, although I might go thicker if it's made out of something else, so. And about 2 feet 5 inches of it was attached to the boat, so sad day. There we go, 20 bucks.
What I gotta do is move turkey. Ow. Are you hungry? Hold on. Where's Grandma?
Did you get a picture before that?
Because I wanted some clean looking plugs this time, I ended up using biaxial for all of these holes and the adapters. This was especially important for the adapters as I wanted them to be pretty strong, stronger than chop strand.
Alright, I've cut out 34 pieces of fiberglass that'll go over these panels. Oh man, it's gonna be really nice to install all these in the next episode. I want to thank you guys for watching, and I want to thank my sponsors for making these videos happen. Thank you so much. Next time, hopefully we'll be installing the hatches. If not, we'll definitely be installing some fiberglass, and hopefully I can fill those holes that I made getting those wires out. So, happy Thanksgiving. I'm thankful for you guys. I'm thankful for this opportunity, and I'll see you on the next one.